Hello, everyone. I hope you're doing well today. Welcome to this edition of our Author Roundtable. Today we are joined by Ralph Pullins and Mike Hansen, and David O'Sullivan may pop in here in a little bit. We are continuing on our author platform branding and marketing conversation with part 3. And so today we've got these two great authors to tell us about a reader base, how to find your readers, where they're at, how to understand your reader, and how to really make sure that you're using your time effectively. A lot of authors struggle because if they don't understand who their reader is, so they can't find their reader. So, welcome, Mike and Ralph. It's really good to see you today. Thanks for joining us. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. Pretty okay. Not too shabby. Good. Sorry, I'm trying to test links. There we go.
Hey, Ralph, I have something for you.
Was that a, I may have just, no, I hope that's not, well, all right. Anyways. Oh, that's awesome. I love it. I saw it when you did your thing. I was very excited about it. I was like, oh, look, Sherry, it's the thing. I was so busy that night. It's just a shame.
Yeah, and the back of it is going to say by author Ralph Pullins, too. So the very back will have, like, your little name across the back. It didn't come on the sample for some reason. I was mad. But this is great. So if you guys didn't check the other podcast, we are coming out with some coffee mugs, pillowcases, and tote bags with great quotes from authors and things to get your bookish reading going. So, guys, tell me, let's kick this off here. How do you personally go about knowing who your reader is? How do you find the right reader for your book?
I guess like what I do, I write to amuse myself. So I look for people who have similar tastes to me or that are interested in similar things to me, or people that I think might, they have some sort of similar aesthetic or things like that. I have that. I mean, that's kind of what I shoot for. But honestly, I don't know. There's people who've really enjoyed my book that I've talked to that I never would have expected they would like it, and so I don't really, I don't know how if someone could tell me how to find them, that would be awesome.
This is great. I love that you just said that, and now you're joining us on this version of the podcast today because that author base or the reader base is so important. So trying to figure out how to find them, this will be a really good chat. Mike, you're really involved in marketing, social media, things like that. Tell us how you know who your readers are.
A lot of the same points that Ralph just made. First, I start off, I write to amuse myself, like Ralph said. I write a book that I want to read. If I'm into it, just getting that conversation going with people on social media, on Twitter, Facebook, just start striking up a conversation with them. And, if we have similar interests or similar backgrounds, I usually find that those people, they kind of dig what I write and what I put out. So it's a lot of that, just getting out on your channels and striking up a conversation.
Yeah, and that's great. It's really great to talk to people. But what if you're putting out all of this content and you're not seeing any return from it? So possibly you're spending a lot of time and you're targeting the wrong reader. So how do you make sure that you are finding your key demographic? Because every book has a key demographic, but then there's also the outliers who are going to find it and love it as well. So for instance, books like let's go with something like John Green. Of course, they're going to be targeted towards YA, but then there's going to be, I see that face, Ralph.
I've never read anything. I don't know anything about him. Mike's got beef with John Green. I have no problem.
I think I just keep bringing him up because he's, Indiana, so hometown love. Love to you, John Green. So he's targeted a lot towards YA and towards a very specific type of young reader who's kind of very outgoing, who likes to challenge society. Ramona's getting crazy. She might end up here in a minute. But then there's those outliers, like adults who read his book. So their marketing department really targets his book to those young readers, knowing that there will be outliers. So how do you know, or how do you go about finding exactly who your target audience is, and then realizing that the outliers will just come to you?
Yeah, go ahead.
One thing that I think is really important to do to find readers is to put out, like I put out stuff on my blog like all the time, and make sure that people that I know that share an aesthetic of mine, or that I know like mine, I ask them to share it with other people that they think they might like it. So like I'm really trying to like grow my readership sort of organically, in that, God bless, I'm getting bit by a mosquito. I'm sorry, I'm being tormented by a bug. I'm like, no, but I'm really trying to grow my readership organically, like just by word of mouth and by people that are engaged in it. And so, I mean, I know what you're asking, but I don't really have a real answer for you. Like, I mean, I guess the real answer is I don't know the answer to your question.
Okay.
The way that I've gained readers that I don't know personally, which I think kind of is crucial to get like sort of outside your like little circle, the way that I've done that is by putting out smaller stuff. So I put out things on my blog, I put out things, I've published short stories, I engage like that. And I think that, to me, it's hard to sell somebody a book, because a book means it's not about really money, I don't think. I think it's more about time, right? You're selling somebody like hours of their life. Like, they're going to have to like really engage in this for hours at a time. And I think that really is the harder sell than just, I mean, $5 on Kindle or whatever, or, $15, because I mean, people will spend that much on a burrito. It's not about the money, right? It's about the time that they're. When you buy a book, you're also like saying like, I'm willing to put this amount of time into it. I'm willing to dedicate this amount of time, and I think that's the harder sell. So I think you sort of have to prove yourself, like prove that you got the chops a little bit, right? Like, so if you like some of my smaller stuff that I do, like on my blog or on my website, or if you like some of the fun things I write on Twitter, if you like, you can get a good feel for like what I have available just by kind of the smaller stuff that I've done. And I know, like, even for Grand Central Review that a friend of mine puts out. Well, actually, Scott's one of the main editors for that, isn't he? He's like one of the founding fathers of that. So Scott Thompson, one of our other friends, he's like one of the founding members of that. But I know that I've gained a lot of people that like engaged with me on social media and through just like publishing a short story with them. So I think that in itself is important. I mean, but again, I don't know really what my demographic is. I wrote a weird book, so I'm looking for other weirdos.
That's a good start. I guess kind of what I'm dancing around, here is our workbook for finding your author profile or your reader profile. Have either of you done that work?
I don't think I've done it officially, but yeah, I kind of.
And you're put on the spot.
I've gone through that practice, and I've kind of identified that 23-year-old to 35-year-old male who, for my work, who enjoys those wiener and fart jokes. Kind of that's my wheelhouse right there.
You need to go to a sausage party, or whatever that new Seth Rogen movie is. You need to go to a cinema and stand by the line of whoever's going to that movie and give them like a free download coupon for your book, because I think anyone going to see that movie would love either of your books.
That's a really good idea. That's fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so the basis behind the reader profile here is kind of what the guys are, where they've written a book, and this is really great that we have both of them on here because their demographic, their target demographic, if we were approaching this from a marketing perspective, would actually be a very precise dot on the map. Their books are very targeted towards certain people. And their organic reach outside of that target demographic is going to be possibly a little bit broader and possibly a little bit harder to find. But because of these two books, Anti-Artist and When Life Hands You a Lemon, we really have to know exactly who their audience is. So we have this system, and we call it creating a reader profile. So a reader profile is targeting exactly who that person is. And what you do, it helps you to understand your book more and where to find people. So for step one, guys, I want you to just make a mental picture real quick of one person holding your book. So Mike, you said that your demographic is 25 to 35, but I want to make it more precise. I want one person. So if you're walking down the street or going on the subway or going into a bookstore and you see somebody holding your book, one person, can you picture that for me?
Yeah, sure. So if I got one dude like browsing, the books in their local bookstore, he's probably gonna be, mid to late 20s.
Give me an exact age.
I was gonna say, we'll call him 26 years old.
Okay.
Slightly hipster. I'll go with that. And a dude who just likes, that good classic story that has, inappropriate jokes in it.
Okay, what can you tell me? What color is their hair? What color are their eyes? What are they a certain ethnicity?
Yeah, sure. So I'll give you like a 6 foot tall, 185 pound, middle class white dude with we'll call it brown hair.
Okay, tell me a little bit. This hipster, 6'5", 185 pound, middle class, 26-year-old. What's his personal life like? What is he in a relationship? Does he have kids? What's his education?
He'll be college educated. Probably not married with kids at all yet. He might still be a bartender or something like that. Kind of finding himself.
Okay, and he definitely did not go to Purdue, so I'm going to put down that he is an IU grad. Where does he? Little rivalry here. Where does he live, and does he only speak English? Does he speak other languages?
Sure. We'll call it your generic suburb.
Okay.
Suburb of Chicago, suburb of Indianapolis, wherever you want to be. Suburbanite.
Okay.
Yeah, probably. I don't know. He may know another language. I wouldn't imagine.
Okay. All right. Is he a frequent reader? Is he only a casual reader? Does he prefer libraries or bookstores?
Definitely a bookstore, and I would say casual to everyday reader.
Okay.
Yeah.
Does he prefer to shop online, or does he prefer to shop in a store?
You're probably like, no, like scraping. Oh my gosh.
Probably in a store.
Is he social media active? Is social media not his thing?
Probably heavily involved in social media.
Okay. Where do you think he shops on the regular? What are his favorite shops, his favorite food?
Oh, that is a simulation.
Probably Mexican food. I don't know. Delicious. Target. Pretty good suburban store.
Target.
Everybody loves Target, man.
Right?
Okay, so what you have just done, Mike, is in my head, you have created a person. So now what I want you to do is I want you to give this person a name.
What is this? Oh. Are you considering that?
I didn't catch it. You
Oh.
dropped out,
Can you
Mike.
give it
Yeah, that's we can call him Patrick.
Patrick?
Patrick.
Oh.
Okay. So, Mike, your reader profile is Patrick. And so when you are looking at finding your audience, you're going to picture Patrick, and that's how you're going to target it. You're going to target your outreach towards a 26-year-old male who's college educated, middle class, a little bit hipster. He's probably single, he's a bartender, he lives in the suburbs, but clearly loves to go to the city. He likes bookstores over online, so that's going to tell you that you want to focus more on bookstores. He's a casual shopper, so he's not somebody who shops all the time, so you're going to need to find him in places other than the store. He's heavily on social media, so you know that your social media has to be tight because you can find him on social media. He really likes Mexican food, and he shops at Target, so you can find
When do you expect to be next then?
something along those lines. So when you're looking at Patrick, picture him in your head and you're creating media for your social media. What you do is you ask yourself is, would Patrick see this and would he share it, or would he just look at it and pass it? And that kind of helps you really figure out how to target. Now the other thing is when you look at Patrick, you're going to get other ideas and ways outside of the box to get him. I'm getting a lot of feedback in the back from somebody talking, like a secondary conversation. Is anybody getting that, or am I just picking up a secondary conversation?
I can hear that.
Let me shut my window.
Okay. I feel like I'm picking up somebody else's phone call, but I wasn't sure if it was me because it's in English, so it shouldn't be on my end. If it was Hindi or Marathi, I'd be yelling at my neighbors, but it would probably be them Bollywood singing. They get in the shower and sing really loud in the morning, so one morning you might hear that. Okay, so back to Patrick real quick. So the other thing that you can do is, now that you have this demographic, is think of where he might hang out, what clubs he might be a part of, and then you can target those clubs. And then the rest of that is your organic outreach. So you look specifically for this person, and when you're doing your marketing, you don't think of people, you think of Patrick. Patrick, Patrick, Patrick. Patrick is all you think about. Does that make a little bit more sense?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. So then you also look at who else would Patrick be friends with? Who else is interacting with Patrick online? And then you reach out to them as well. So that helps you grow your outreach by starting with a targeted person. So I kind of want to ask you, why do you think it's important, since we kind of just went through the reader profile here together, why do you think it's important to get very targeted with your outreach and to really understand who your reader is?
Did you ask me? I'm sorry. I was distracted, sorry.
No, you're fine. Anybody. So, because since neither of you had done this yet, it's really great that we got to do it on air. And so it's kind of a new thing that people will kind of get to see the process of creating your reader profile. But why do you think it's important to do this exercise instead of just going at it?
Just give you a place to start. To
Thanks,
give you
David.
yeah.
Yeah,
To give you a focus.
Hi, David.
Hi.
It's David.
Sorry. When you popped on, I didn't have my Hangout screen on. I had the workbook screen. I didn't see you were there, so
That's
everyone,
fine.
David
That's
is Sullivan. Yeah.
Yeah.
So he said,
So
yeah, you said to, like, give a place to start. So like you said, like as far as like if you're creating things to share, if you're creating marketing pieces, it's, you know, if you have Patrick in mind or other people that Patrick might be into, I mean it's useful, right? Like I mean that's a really good sort of like way to judge if like what you're creating is going to be effective or reach who you're trying to reach.
yeah, so if you're going for a podcast, of course, any press media opportunity to talk about your book, I say take it, you know, grab it and go for it. But if you're going for a podcast and you think, wow, you know, Patrick would listen to this or Patrick's friends would listen to this, that is the one that I would focus the most on in your social media outreach. So with social media, we say you should follow either the 70-30 or the 80-20 rule, where most of your content is not just your buy. Most of your content is shareable. You know what I'm trying to say, like only 20 or 30% should be like firm buy links. So that helps you figure out the rest of that 80%, or that 70%. You think of what would Patrick share, what would his friends share, what would get them interested. And if you target towards Patrick, then everybody else that is in that demographic or might be like Patrick will be like, oh my God, this book, let me buy this book. And then we're one step closer to getting Ralph banned. You know?
I think that's a really good point, that if you make something of use to people, that they're going to pay more attention to it. Advertising just sort of, it's sort of like waves on the shore, it just comes all the time, but to actually have something to get people sharing and interested in, it really gives them something to want to know more about you and want to know more about your product. With, I think in America there's this time of the year where there's a lot of ads come on the television and they put a football game around it. That the I think you call it the Super Bowl, but the that's where they put those.
How dare you, sir?
That's where they put their great content. They put a lot of money into forming little stories, because I love those ads. They put little stories and really make you want to engage with the product. I think that's something that's really important. A really good lesson for people to take away is that you make something interesting. People want to listen to you.
Yeah, and we are storytellers, and something that amazes me is how a lot of authors struggle with continuing that story into their outreach. So if you have a person, it helps you become a storyteller with your, I really hate to just keep saying marketing, but it really helps you become a storyteller with getting your book out to those who might want to read it. So, Mike, I want to do another exercise real quick. Let's get Patrick in mind. Where is Patrick hanging out? Does he join any clubs? Does he do any activities? Does he play kickball in the park on Sundays? Like hipster? Sorry, hipsters, we love you.
Well, I said slight hipster.
Are they playing kickball? That sounds awesome.
I wish we all lived closer together. We would have a kickball game today. All right, so tell me about his clubs.
Like, say weekends, he's like a bar rat. During the week, not sure about any clubs.
Who does he follow online? So, like, what magazines or blogs does he read online?
So, online follows, you'd have probably sort of left-leaning followers, like the HuffPost, stuff like that. Probably into politics, so he'd follow some of those people. Struggling to think here. Might be into, some of the A-list celebs, see what they have to say, things like that.
Okay, so this part you're kind of struggling with, and that's good because a lot of readers can think of their main character or their main person But they can't. I don't know if you can hear Ramona. If you're going to name your dog, don't name them after a naughty character because it really starts to affect their personality. So Ramona is named after Ramona Quimby, and she is the naughtiest little thing. But anyway, so when you think of where he's going to hang out, the reason that's important is because that tells you where you want to start looking or hanging out or interacting. So you said that he might be into politics, he might be into A-list celebs. So even if you don't like A-list celebs, or you don't really care what the Kardashians are up to, or the Oscars aren't your thing, what you want to do is blogs that talk about that, and then just start leaving comments and interacting with other people, or putting comments on your Twitter stream, because that's something that they're going to follow, or not maybe even commenting, but just sharing items. And then the people that interact with those particular items that Patrick would interact with, those are the people that you want to interact with more. And that's going to help you find your target reader base, and then you're not focusing so much on trying to find that organic outliers that might come to your book. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I'm doing all the talking this time. I'm sorry.
It's interesting.
So Mike, I'm going to give you a challenge this week. I want you to think of Patrick. What I want you to do after we get off this call, or in the morning, because I know it's late for you, is I want you to look at your social media, go to Twitter Analytics, print that page out, so that way you know kind of where you're at right now. Check your website, check your Facebook, and write down where you're at. And then for the next week, I want you to target Patrick. And I want you to push yourself to find 5 online resources that Patrick would likely go to, and either subscribe to that blog and start commenting on it, or start sharing material and then interacting with the people who share that material. And then next week, I want to do like a 5-minute check-in to see how it impacted your growth, or if you feel like you met any readers or fans. Does that sound fun? I'm excited about it.
Yeah.
Mike's not looking at the camera. I know he's going.
He's like, he's getting homework assignment. This game homework assignment. He's like, he's taking notes.
Mike's like, this is the last time I speak up. Somebody else gets that next time.
You saw me. I stayed silent. I was like,
Yeah. Okay, so obviously I love the reader profile, and this is a workbook that I came up with to help our authors kind of really target who to outreach, because I really believe that we should spend our time working smarter, not harder. And I see a lot of our author family working super, super hard and not getting the payoff that they should be getting for all of their outreach. So if we target it more and look for a certain person, and you really understand your reader base, then the effort that you put into it is multiplied, and it comes back to you a lot quicker. So this isn't a workbook. It will be for sale on FrenchPressBookworks.com if you're interested in picking that up. It's $9.99 for the workbook to walk you through all of the different steps. All of our authors, you get it in the resource library. So if you haven't done it yet, check it out. It's a lot of fun. So this is a little bit different than our other calls in the fact that it wasn't quite as much of a discussion, but more like a little bit of a workshop. So are there any takeaways from this that you want to share with the audience for why doing this activity today might be useful compared to where you were at the start of the call with maybe not knowing who your reader base is? Crickets.
It can help you target. It can help you target your advertising, so you're not trying to throw your window open and scream out to the whole world. To actually target one specific key point can allow you to develop, spend that time developing the information you want to share, and it can be more direct. So you're not trying to keep everyone happy, because you know if you try to keep everyone happy, you don't keep anyone happy. I think it goes down to the point of working smarter, not harder, where you develop and then you target. It can save you time. I think that's what I'd take away from that point.
And I think, I mean, there's an element of, like, to me, there's like an element of annoyance that comes with advertising, right? So if like someone follows you on Twitter and you follow them back, and then all you get is like 15 or 20 or 1,000 tweets of them like saying, "Hey, I wrote a book and it's really great. Look at it. Hey, here's a link to this. Hey." Or even if it's just them doing the same thing for other people, because there's like those networks of people that all join up the same list and then they all share each other's stuff and whatever, but nobody's doing anything that's even remotely interesting. Like, it's annoying. And I curate my feed really carefully. Like, if there's anything slightly annoying, I get rid of it. I don't have time for it. So, like, I mean, at best it's ignorable, right? And at worst it's annoying. And I think, though, if you do something like this, where you have like a specific audience, it's less like your marketing pieces will be like, they'll be like more interested in it, right? So instead of like going, geez, again with this guy and his stupid pictures, you know, instead of that, they'll be like, oh wow, that's kind of interesting. Okay, that's not too bad. You know what I mean? To where it's like it's more engaging. So if they have something that they're more engaged with, they'll pay attention more, right? I mean, so you know, I'm not spamming, the Baptist ministers with my links to my book, because they're just not going to be. I mean, they're not going to be as interested in it as someone who, maybe is into art or is maybe into, other addiction issues or anything like that. So, I mean, to me, that's, they'll be more engaged if it's something that they're more interested in. That only makes sense.
Yeah, it's about putting value. She's joining us. It's about putting value, making your work have value and finding your audience in that right way. Mike, since you kind of created Patrick, any feedback on how this might help you?
Yeah, sure. Like the guys were saying.
Sure. I like picking on you guys. I'm sorry. It's my one time a week that I get to just rag on you.
Instead of throwing, like a dart out into the wind, you're actually throwing it at a dartboard, and you have something. You have a targeted goal that you can go with and start with, like David said. So now that I know this dude and I know what he's into, I can give him what he wants. If I'm giving him what he wants, he'll be happy. He'll spread the word, and it'll kind of snowball from there.
Yeah, I think that's all good feedback. I'm really interested to see how your little homework assignment goes for you this week. If any of the rest of you want to do this homework assignment as well, I'm just kind of interested in how it works for you and what you see. And the other reason is, if you don't like marketing, or like David, for instance, you said you don't like going out there and just being like, hey, buy my book, and that's really not your style. It's not any of your guys' style. And so this is a way to get your name and your book out there without being so in your face, because then you can just look for events that your target guy would go into. We call this her stupid face. She just sits there like, so you all get to see her stupid face right now. She's so animated and such a character. So then if you want to go to like, because some of our authors are like, oh, I'm going to a bookstore and putting my bookmarks down. But what if that bookstore primarily sells YA novels? Of course, your book isn't going to find a place there, so you just wasted bookmarks. And even though it may only be pennies, it's pennies that you could invest somewhere else. Or say you're going to a festival, you could say, oh, Patrick might be at this festival, and then to bring like your business card or some books along or something to pass out, and then it really helps you save some time. So this is, for me, it's a really fun activity, and I think my authors, I love coming up with crazy tools, and every week I'm always like, oh my gosh, you guys check out this training video and this new spreadsheet and this and that and this and that. But this is actually one of the easier things that we put together that can really help you out. So thanks for everybody for watching with us today, and like I said, if you want to take this on your own, the reader profile is available. Get my face here, not hers. So you can buy the reader profile workbook on French Press Bookworks, and there will actually be a coupon link in the YouTube comments for 25% off until December 31st, 2016. So what I want the guys to do real quick is just introduce themselves, since they didn't really get a large section of discussion today, and it was more of a homework style call. But I issue this challenge to all authors to try this out for 1 week and tell me it does not work for you. So guys, introduce yourselves and tell the audience where they can find you, chat with you, ask you questions, follow you, see if the reader profile is working for you, how you're changing your outreach.
Okay. I'm Ralph Pullins. I wrote the book Anti-Artists, which I have right here. It's good. That's my biggest selling. It's good. You can find me on Twitter. I'm at rdpullins. I am pretty responsive to anybody who sends me messages. I am on Facebook as well. I don't know the links, and I always vow to find out how to give a Facebook link before I do another one of these, but I still don't know how. I think facebook.com/RalphPullins or something.
I'll put it. Yeah. I'll put it in the YouTube comments. I'll put it in the comments section for you.
I take all friend requests too. It's not to say that I will not block you if you're a psycho, but I will accept your friend request and promptly mute you if you're a lunatic. So, I've also got a website, and it is ralphpullins.com, and there you can check out some of my kind of more experimental writing or shorter pieces or things like that, or just little musings, and usually about writing, or it is writing. So it's always kind of fun, and that's that really. I mean, or you can swing by my house. I'm not going to give you my address though.
Go for it, Mike.
All right. Mike Hansen, author of When Life Hands You a Lemon. That's also good. Yeah. So Patrick can find me at Fatty Hansen on Twitter, FATTYHANSEN. Also Instagram. I'm on there a lot too. I also have a Facebook page. There's a link somewhere, and Dion will give it to you later. Website, fattyhansen.com. Like Ralph, there's a lot of writing on there. There's links to these videos on there too. And yeah, so that's where you can find me, Patrick.
I might do this.
David Go Sullivan.
My name's David O'Sullivan. I'm the author of The Bomber. I've also got a novel coming out next month called Anvil Soul, and you can find me at my webpage, davidgosullivan.com or davidgosullivan.com, and you'll see where I'm trying to put some poetry together. That's something I'm very interested in at the moment, reading poetry and writing it as best I can.
Awesome. So if you're looking for fun writing, I really encourage you to check out these 3 author websites, because they all put up writing that they're doing, and it's different styles. Some of it is really challenging, but it's all really beautiful. And anytime any of these guys put up on Twitter, I instantly drop what I'm doing and I go check out what they're writing. So I'm not just saying that because they're our authors. I'm saying that because their writing is really good, and what they put out on their websites is something that you should definitely check out. So if it works correctly, as they're speaking, you should be seeing their website addresses quickly. If you're live, they didn't pop up because I haven't added them in yet, but if you're watching this later, it should pop up over their names. It's also going to be in the comments section, so that way you can find them. Now, if you have questions about creating a reader profile, how it works, or how it can benefit you, reach out to me. I am live on Twitter at Girl vs. City. You can also reach out to me at French Press Bookworks, FP Bookworks, or visit our website, FrenchPressBookworks.com. This is something that I'm really passionate about, and I really love tailoring and cutting down an author's work to help them, because authors need time to write and they need time to not be so involved in the aspects of getting it going. I'm kind of losing my thought process here.
Derailed there.
It's so derailed. She's like a heater, and I feel like I've just gained like 10 degrees. I'm starting to sweat. I can't think straight. So any questions about the author profile or reader profile or anything that we've done over these last 3 sessions about helping to build your author platform and strengthen it, reach out to any one of us. We love the conversation. We'll get it going. And next week is going to be part 4 of 4. So we're closing down our section on the author platform next week. So thank you all for joining us today. I hope you enjoy your evening or your morning, depending on where you're at. And we will see you next week.
Bye.
Bye.
Good night, everybody. Good morning, I guess.
Bye.